Those of you sitting in the first few rows will get wet.
If there was ever a series literally being kept alive by its fans, then that would be White Wolf's tabletop RPG known as World of Darkness. This series has weathered so much hardship, from changing owners to going to print on demand, and nowadays can only publish new books through Kickstarter, though thankfully they've been successful Kickstarters. The fact that this series is still around after all that speaks volumes about the love and devotion the fans have for it. It's kind of easy to forget these days that at one point World of Darkness was a multimedia titan, with comic books, novels, a short-lived and justly forgotten TV show produced by Aaron Spelling, and of course, video games. There's the Hunter the Reckoning trilogy, which is a decent, though by the numbers hack and slash that's elevated by its brand name. There's the aborted Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of Gaia, and based on what little did manage to survive, it's probably for the best that this game never saw the light of day. And then there's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, a game that killed its developers, was devoured by the gaming press upon release, though for once they had good reasons to, and yet just like the source material that inspired it, it enjoys a loyal fanbase to this day and has gotten a second life as an unappreciated classic. And frankly, it's a classic that I enjoy today.
Whether or not you win the game matters not. It's if you bought it.
This game's writing and presentation are really what sell it. It's full of razor-sharp wit.
First, the Masquerade. You're gonna be hearing a lot about this, so let me sum up real quick. Sure, you're a vampire. Great. Keep it to yourself, okay? It's easier that way, trust me.
Clever satire.
Really, I'd love to hear them, but I've got to go find a new DJ. The old one's still spinning that Pixie Wave Magic 80s Redux electronica and so last Friday.
Subtle social commentary.
Among the titles the group is trying to get banned from stores are Mangle Garden, Rape and Pillage, and Abe Lincoln Teaches Killing. Protesters say that extended media attention towards exploitive games such as Meth Tycoon promotes parental awareness of their adult content and lessens children's interest in the taboo-themed games.
Thought-provoking philosophical questions.
Humans and kindred are just as capable of managing their own destruction as a deity. A self-realized Gehenna warrants more vigilance than a god-induced one, don't you agree?
Basically, name it and Bloodlines has got it in spades. This game covers so many topics and subjects that would be a whole video unto itself. It also helps that this game's script is performed by a star-studded cast. Seriously, I am not kidding, just take a look at this cast. This is a who's who of video game and animation voice acting. Just listen to this. Gray Delisle Griffin.
I am Jeanette, and this bit of chaos crammed in a certifiable giggle is my club.
D. Bradley Baker.
News travels down the Kindred grapevine like wildfire, and that courtroom spat between LaCroix and Nines Rodriguez is a juicy little morsel.
Mary Elizabeth McGlynn.
Real terror is not the sight of death. It is the fear of death. What is the fear of death? Terror of the unknown.
Michael Goff.
I see my reputation for once does not precede me. My name is Beckett.
Courtney Taylor.
I thought maybe something happened to you. I shouldn't even think such a thing. I mean, if you disappeared, how could I go on?
Nika Futterman.
Isn't this better? You and me alone for just a little while. Away from jihad and the nonsense and the dangers. Just the two of us.
Steve Bloom.
I see your face is not so lifeless. Your nerves not so deadened that you cannot express shock. Tell me, child, is my appearance that frightening?
Phil Lamar.
Well, if it ain't the talk of the town, poster child for Camarilla Benevolence. What errand does the prince have you running today, boy?
And John DiMaggio.
Kid, I never answered to no man in life. Now I sure as shit ain't taking orders from a vampire with a suit and a funny name.
And you better believe that this is a cast that is giving their all. There is not a single bad performance in this cast, and these performances are able to come to life even more thanks to the graphics and animation used with the Valve Source engine. And while we're on that note, this game has actually aged very well graphically speaking. Character models are expressive and realistic without dripping into the uncanny valley. Environments are moody and atmospheric. For a game that's come out in 2004, it still looks pretty good. In fact, I wouldn't be too surprised to learn that by the standards of the day, this game was mind-blowing. But graphics are just the surface. What really counts in the video game are its mechanics. And these role-playing mechanics adapted from the source material fit like a glove. You've got a character sheet with a whole list of attributes, skills, and talents that are endlessly customizable, and each clan comes with its own set of disciplines, making every playthrough feel like a unique experience. In fact, one of my best playthroughs is as a Malkavian. NPCs don't just react to you differently because you have a different clan. Entire text is rewritten to fit a Malkavian perspective. And there's even little touches, like you might be walking around and randomly start hearing voices.
Isaac's in the jewelry store at the end of the street. Consider yourself invited.
Or if you want another unique experience, try playing as a Nosferatu. Because as a Nosferatu, well, you're gonna have a face that looks like a cross between the Crypt Keeper and Keith Richards. You're likely not gonna be engaging with NPCs too much, so you're gonna be sticking to the sewers and shadows, making it a more stealth-heavy approach. But with that comes its own set of advantages, as the Nosferatu are much better at lockpicking, hacking, and stealth. Now, there are plenty of good things to say about Bloodlines, but sadly, this game is not perfect. For one, the guns don't feel like they're shooting bullets and instead feel like they're shooting Nerf darts. But if the gunplay is underpowered, then the stealth is overpowered, especially if you're playing a Malkavian or a Nosferatu with a maxed out obfuscate discipline. By that point, you're basically death incarnate. It's pretty clear that Troika was focusing more on the melee combat, which works a lot better than the gunplay. It does take some choice out of how you play the game, but I wouldn't necessarily call this game breaking. For Bloodlines, what's really going to be the game breaker are the bugs and glitches. Seriously, it's been almost 15 years since this game came out, and it's still got bugs and glitches. But honestly, as bad as it is now, when this game came out, it was nearly unplayable upon release. And that's kind of why the gaming press devoured it. They unleashed the Kraken on this game, and for good reason. This game just was not functioning at all when it first came out. Although this is not completely Troika's fault. Activision rushed them to get this game out before it was completed. And because Activision forced them to rush it out the door, well, just go and check out any review from 2004. It pretty much tells the whole tale. And it's through the tireless and thankless efforts of so many dedicated fans that this game has received any fixes and unofficial patches at all. So it's more playable nowadays, but it's still bug and glitch ridden. In fact, I encountered one really bad game-breaking glitch during my playthrough as my Gangrel. This glitch came when my Protean discipline was at level 3. Now, I went to activate it, and guess what? The game froze on me. Completely. And you better believe this was not a one-off thing. In fact, it happened enough times that I was just about ready to toss my laptop out my window, wander the streets of Tacoma for the nearest bar, and drink myself into a stupor.
Every freaking time!
There's one more point I would like to bring up, and it's not necessarily a flaw, it's more of a nitpick. It concerns the story. The story, you see, is completely linear. If you're used to playing BioWare games like Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age, or Mass Effect, then you're used to having options in the story. Bloodlines does not have that. The story goes only one direction and you've got no say in it at all. The story itself is actually very well written and very well told. But if you're someone who likes having a lot more agency in your games, you may find this a problem. Now, to the game's credit, it doesn't constantly push you to finish the main quest. It wants you to explore as much of the game as you can, and the open world is non-linear enough that you don't feel boxed in. Like I said, it's really more of a nitpick, it's not really a flaw. Now, I do love Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but I am going to have to be honest. To love this game, you have to love it in spite of its flaws, because it is a terribly flawed game. While I can tolerate bugs and glitches, your mileage may vary, and you may not be able to get into this game because of that. But if you can get past all that, you are going to find a game that truly is underrated, a game that truly was unappreciated in its day. And it's only now that people are beginning to see this game's virtues. And it's sad that this game killed its developers, because I would love to have seen a sequel. In fact, if anyone from Activision is listening, if you guys have any plans for a Bloodlines sequel, here's what I'd like to see. I want all 13 clans playable, I want more character customization, I want the option to play for either the Camarilla, the Sabbat, the Anarchs, or go independent. I want the ability to become the Prince of the City. I want a day and night cycle. I also want the story to be more open-ended and have more narrative branches. Or, if you can't do that, I'll settle for an HD remake. Or, you know, you guys will just crank out another Call of Duty. Life is not fair sometimes.
Daylight black, your way.